My sister betrayed me and married my millionaire fiancé. 7 years later, she bragged she had it all. I smiled back. Have you met my husband yet? I hadn't spoken to my sister in 7 years, not since the night I found her in my bed with my fiancé. So when she walked into our mother's funeral, wearing diamonds the size of ice cubes and a smug little smile, I thought the universe was about to humiliate me one last time. Instead, that was the day her perfect life cracked, and she realized she'd married the wrong sister's future. If you've ever been betrayed by someone who was supposed to love you, this story is going to hit hard. So before we start, like the video, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, do you believe karma really comes back around? Because today's story might convince you it does. My sister Eudora always lived like life owed her something. She was the kind of person who walked into a room and expected it to revolve around her. Not loud, not dramatic, just entitled. Growing up, she borrowed my clothes, my friends, even my birthday party themes. I used to laugh it off until she borrowed my future. Back then, I was engaged to Darius. He was charming in the way that convinces people he's successful even before he is. Sharp suits, confident smile, endless promises about the empire we'd build together. I believed him. We were 3 months from the wedding when I came home early from work one afternoon. I still remember the smell first, his cologne, stronger than usual, then laughter upstairs, her laughter. When I opened the bedroom door, I didn't scream, didn't cry. My body just froze. Because betrayal doesn't feel like an explosion. It feels like gravity disappearing. They both stared at me like I was the one interrupting something important. And in that moment, I realized something horrifying. They weren't ashamed. They were relieved I knew. The wedding was canceled within the week. But the real damage wasn't the relationship. It was my family. My parents begged me to understand. Said love was complicated. Said Darius and Eudora had a connection. They said forgiveness would keep the family together. Translation? They'd rather keep the peace than protect me. So I packed 2 suitcases and moved to Chicago. New job, new apartment, new life. I told myself I was starting over. But the truth? I was rebuilding from rubble. The first year was survival. The second was healing. By the 3rd year, I stopped introducing myself as someone who used to be engaged. That's when I met Zevian. He wasn't flashy, didn't dominate rooms, didn't promise the moon. But when he spoke, people listened. And when he looked at me, I felt safe. He worked in investment strategy, the kind of guy who built fortunes quietly, while louder men bragged about theirs. We didn't fall in love dramatically. We built it slowly, brick by brick. The kind of love that doesn't feel like fireworks. It feels like coming home. We married 4 years later. No spectacle, no social media posts, no audience, just peace. 7 years after I left home, my mother died. Funerals have a way of reopening wounds you thought had scarred over. I stood at the church entrance, greeting guests, my hands cold despite the summer heat. Then I saw them, Eudora and Darius. She stepped out of a black car like she was arriving at a gala instead of a burial. Designer dress, diamond bracelet flashing in the sun. Darius followed, looking older but still carrying that same inflated confidence. When she hugged me, her perfume felt suffocating. "Oh, Wendy," she said softly, but loud enough for others to hear. "I'm glad you made something of yourself." I knew that tone, pity disguised as kindness. Then she leaned closer and whispered, "You must get lonely, though, all by yourself." That's when I smiled, because for the first time in years, I didn't feel small. I felt prepared. I glanced past her shoulder. "Actually," I said gently, "I'm not alone." Zevian stepped forward, tall, calm, impossibly composed. He placed a hand on my back, not possessive, not showy, just steady. "This is my husband," I said. The shift in Darius's face was instant. Recognition, confusion, then dread. Because Zevian wasn't just anyone in his industry. He was the man who'd outmaneuvered Darius in multiple investment deals over the years. The one whose firm kept winning contracts Darius desperately chased. The one he'd called that quiet snake in business circles. Darius's handshake turned limp halfway through. "You're married?" he muttered. Zevian smiled politely. "Yes. Wendy's been the best decision of my life." It wasn't loud, it wasn't cruel, but it landed like a hammer. The whispers started immediately. Relatives murmuring, old family friends connecting dots. Because suddenly, the narrative flipped. I wasn't the sister who lost everything. I was the one who rebuilt better. And Eudora? She kept smiling, but her jaw tightened. During the reception after the service, she cornered me near the garden. "You think you won?" she hissed. "I have wealth, influence, security." For the first time in years, I didn't feel defensive. I felt calm. "I'm glad," I told her honestly. "I hope it makes you happy." That answer confused her more than anger ever could. A week later, she called me. No audience, no diamonds, no bravado. Just her voice, tired. She admitted the truth. Her marriage wasn't love, it was performance. Darius chased bigger deals, bigger status, bigger validation. Their house was enormous and then emotionally empty. She said sometimes she wondered if she'd traded happiness for appearances. And that's when I understood something. The best revenge isn't making someone suffer. It's showing them they chose wrong. Not loudly, just undeniably. I used to think betrayal ruined my life. But looking back, it redirected it. Because if my sister hadn't taken what I thought I wanted, I never would have found what I actually needed. Sometimes the worst moment of your life is just the doorway to a better one. If this story hit you emotionally, drop a like and share it with someone who believes in karma. And tell me in the comments, do you think success is the best revenge or forgiveness? Don't forget to subscribe for more real stories of betrayal, justice, and comeback moments that prove one thing. Sometimes life doesn't give you revenge, it gives you something better.